Breaking news! Micah Parsons has officially been traded from the Dallas Cowboys to where? Oh, the Green Bay Packers. And a new deal has been reached between David Mulligeta, Gutekunst, and the entire operation in Green Bay, including Ed Policy, who's the new guy in charge, who wasn't scared to make a little bit of a splash play like his father, Corman Policy, who ran the San Francisco 49ers back in the day. Over the last few days, this has felt like it was getting realer and realer. Ty Schmidt of our program, who his reaction was outrageously fantastic, has been saying, hey, listen, Green Bay, don't be scared to give him $45 million a year, $50 million a year, $55 million a year. Well, it turns out it's $47 million a year for 4 years. There's also 2 first-rounders involved in the trade. And now all of a sudden, the Green Bay Packers fans are thinking, we're winning the goddamn Lombardi because we're bringing a guy who can wreck a game on the defensive side. LaFleur's going to take care of the offensive side. And all of a sudden, the Green Bay Packers draft wide receivers in the first round, and they trade for the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL. Welcome to the brand new Green Bay Packers. Ty Schmidt, I watched you erupt. I watched you climax. I watched you experience the thrill of a fan saying, it was going to be a good year. Now it's going to be a great year. Ty, congratulations. And also, a little journalism. We've been on top of this for a few days now.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, when it first came out, and there just steadily was more smoke around this situation. And, again, being a Packers fan, or we've talked about this like with the Steelers and the Packers, like they don't make these type of moves. But the more we were starting to hear about it, that was the only, Shefty came on the show earlier today and said, hey, there are going to be multiple suitors, multiple teams who are interested. And maybe it is just because I'm a Packers fan and it was my algorithm, but that was the only team whose name I was actually seeing. Like, hey, the Packers are in on this. They want to do this. Ultimately, did I think it was going to actually happen? Probably not. But then it just, day after day, it was like, no, this is a real thing. When I saw that $45 million, and I don't know who first put that out there, pretty close. But like when I first saw that, I was like, oh, okay, like they have this. This is set up. This is ready to go. And now we'll just see. Maybe Jerry is going to get to the point where people around him are going to say, hey, you know what? You guys have kind of been at odds this whole time. He doesn't want to talk to you. You don't want to talk to him. Why don't you go ahead and get a generational haul for a generational player? So, I mean, I'm over the moon. I really am speechless. Like, it really does. And I don't think it's crazy to say that as a Packers fan, like, boom, I'm thinking Super Bowl now.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that that's what fans can experience, especially with the trade of one great player. And everybody seems to agree that Micah is a great football player. And I think everybody in Dallas thinks the same thing. I do wonder, whenever the story is told, what it actually was between Jerry and Micah. Because from Micah's letter that he put out, he thanked Dallas, loved Dallas, gave a place for him to belong. He said in there, growing up near Philadelphia, he was a Dallas Cowboys fan when everybody else was. So whenever he was drafted 12th overall in 2021, that was literally a lifelong dream. Got the blue and white on at Penn State, stayed in the same colors with Dallas. This is dream come true. Everything's crazy. So then he also said, I just wanted Mulligeta to be able to negotiate my contract. Now, Mulligeta is the guy who negotiates all the contracts that break all the records. This is the most recent one. Congrats to Mulligeta getting this deal done. Here's the full terms now. Rappaport is reporting. Cowboys get Kenny Clark in 2 firsts.
Wow.
Packers get Micah Parsons. Now, how do you feel immediately? Heard a no shit right there.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. He's been a guy you can set your watch to on defense right there in the middle. But, they have a couple young guys who have been, pretty solid. I wasn't expecting him to be included in this at all. I figured it'd be more of like a Quay Walker, type player because Kenny Clark, I mean, he's not old, but still, I think if you have the opportunity to trade for Micah Parsons, short of having to, trade like a Jordan Love or something like that, like I think you do it. And they felt the same way, which is awesome.
Well, and, one of the big things for the Packers the past couple of years is like Lucas Van Ness. He hasn't got enough opportunity. And then when you look at only 2 picks and Kenny Clark, that stinks. But it's not like they killed their drafts for the next 2 years. Of course, I think we all expect the Packers to be in it, Micah to have an all-pro year. With the Jerry Jones documentary coming out, I kind of feel like now this might be Jerry's last ride. I'm assuming that the people around Jerry, if the Packers do go on to win a Super Bowl, which definitely in the conversation, I'm excited to see where their odds jump to.
Yeah, one player on defensive side. I will be excited to see what the odds move.
Yeah, with the guys they already have on the back end, like I expect this year maybe to go very well for the Packers. Not that the Cowboys will be terrible, but if the Cowboys fall into a Bengals situation where their offense is putting up a ton of points, but they're still losing games late, maybe Stephen Jones and those people around him say, hey, remember back in the day when you paid Charles Haley? That didn't happen this time. Maybe
complete
it's time
opposite
to go.
now.
Yeah.
We're sending out our guy who, just because, that's interesting because it was reported today from Schefter to us. They agreed on a $40.5 million a year deal for 5 years, is what Jerry thought happened at a dinner.
Yeah.
Jerry and Micah were talking, and maybe Micah was agreeable or whatever. And then whenever the conversation was escalated to, hey, my agent now would like to talk to you about what we talked about. Maybe it was year length, maybe it wasn't a 5-year deal Micah didn't want. Maybe the number wasn't exactly what Micah wanted. Maybe Micah thought it was in the area, but it wasn't exactly what he wanted. And for whatever reason, Jerry felt disrespected by this. Then this thing got loud. And it did seem like it was not going to be able to be repaired, but a big check can repair a lot of things. So everybody, even today, was like, Jerry, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, these guys in the past that have had situations publicly have gotten settled when Jerry would overpay them. Probably going to happen to Mike again. That was still a possibility. Instead, gone. Second time in the history of him owning the Cowboys franchise that he's traded somebody after making a Pro Bowl. So he does not do this. You Pro Bowl Dallas Cowboys are the stars. Jerry likes stars. I mean, the logo, he's a star. That is the thing. And to do this is a crazy move. Tone, what were you looking at over there?
I was looking at the odds because you guys were talking about them. Different places had Packers plus 2,200, plus 2,000, whatever, to win the Super Bowl. Right now, places have them like plus 1,800, plus 1,600. So you're getting like 400 points or so in movement, which is pretty decent for a defensive play.
Yeah, not pretty decent. It's very good.
Yeah.
There's been quarterbacks that have gone to teams who'd be starting quarterbacks, and the odds haven't moved at all. Micah joins that defense. New defense coordinator over the last couple of years. You guys like this defense, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And from everything that's coming out of like Rashawn Gary, I mean, he's obviously he's not getting Micah Parsons money, but they paid him to be like an elite top level pass rusher. And again, it's kind of what we talked about this a little bit earlier in the week and why I thought, hey, you need to go get Micah because a lot of pressures, like that's kind of been their thing, but they're not actually finishing plays off and getting sacks. And with them losing, who they've lost in the secondary at cornerback, like they're going to need to be able to get after the quarterback a little bit better this year. So, I'm really excited to see what Jeff Hafley will do with him. But it's just like, I mean, we've talked about this since this whole thing started. Like these guys don't get traded. They just don't. And for him to be traded to the Packers, like I'm glad that they did whatever they had to do to get it done.
All right, we'll be live tomorrow. I'll be in Ohio. The boys will be here. And here is Ty's immediate reaction.